Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Horse races now. Boy, do we have a special treat for you today. Kenny is back in Dubai, and he's going to show us some of the facilities over there. What's up, Kenny?
Well, I'd say good morning, but it's actually good afternoon over here.
That's
We're 8
right.
hours in front of you. And right now I'm standing in the Dubai World Cup, the offices in the quarantine facility. Really great setup. Quick intro. Here's my guy, Danny Ramsey. Hello. Tommy Wente, the breeder of Rattle N Roll. Francisco Serrano, my assistant over here. We are in a guest appearance. So this is where the staff comes, and they have meals, and there's some dorms here, but they're going to open the dinner here at about 5 o'clock. But in the meantime, I'm going to walk around and show you all a lot of the stuff that we've got going on here. There's a board that has all the past winners.
Nice.
And then we're hoping to put our name on this one over here if we can get lucky. We've got racing. So let's go for a little walk.
Kenny, how would you describe how big of a deal the sport is in Dubai?
Well, Sheikh Mohammed has really put together a pretty amazing program here. I mean, it's a world-class event. It has been for two going on 3 decades. Where I'm standing now, these are the quarantine barns, and I've been stabled in this one in years past. I've actually been stabled in this one in years past also. I don't know if I'm showing my age or experience here. That's the building we just left.
Okay.
And it's utilized as a dormitory and also a kitchen, and they do a lot of the administrative work in there. You've got a scale that's over here for weighing horses coming and going. Pretty convenient.
Pretty awesome.
This typically was a watchman post, but nobody seems to be guarding it now.
Didn't you say that the crime over there is pretty much non-existent?
No, there's no crime over here. It's they're very strict. Another stable. I think I've been in that barn too over the years. Some horses out walking. We're going to walk over towards Rattle N Roll, and I'll show you what stable he's in. And these are the horse trucks. I think they call them lorries over here. Pretty impressive, these trucks, actually. So what they do is this ramp right here be utilized on race day, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
All the participants will be loaded and kept separate and taken over to the main race course, which is Maidan now. Prior to Maidan, it was Nat Al Sheba, but this quarantine facility was used even then, and remained in remarkably good shape. It's a great place to handle a horse, and it's very private yards, and it's pretty interesting what they've set up here. But like I said, this has been here for over 2 decades. And first horse I brought to Dubai was in 2003. And this is, it's always a great experience. I mean, the Maidan Hotel, and I'm gonna send Teague a list of, some of the things that Rattle N Roll does in his morning routine.
Okay. I've
got some nice video of that you'll be able to aggregate to this. And then, just maybe a little bit of a feeling of the hotel. The grandstand here is probably one of the most intimidating grandstands you'll ever see. It's probably the largest in the history of the sport. It's massive. Hotel included on past the wire. There's a hotel where most all the participants stay. And it's pretty amazing what they've done over here. And for people that have never, you probably see the races from Dubai. It's just next level stuff. And one of the more stressful locations in Dubai. This is the race course. And that's Al Quaz Training Center over there. It's like another new development. Almost all racing people here today. It's a pretty good spot to spend the afternoon before going back for feed time. Like I said, most of the people here are for the racing. Open bar. So it's 4:30 a.m. here in Dubai. We are coming to get the big hoss ready. Checking in here. Water tub. Feed tubs are interesting. They go in these corners. I don't think this horse ever missed a meal in his life. It's an air-conditioned stable. If you look up here, the air conditioning system gets extremely hot here in Dubai. Say morning, Danny.
Good morning.
There's Danny Ramsey, bright and alert.
Good morning.
Anyway, this is actually a stall that we're utilizing as a tack room. And the whole stable is screened in from mosquitoes. They worry about pyroplasmosis here, which is a mosquito-borne infection, a worldwide issue. So what we'll do is, after they get him cleaned up there, it won't take long, when we come out here, this little stable yard, wash rack. This is the same yard they've used since they've been racing here. Nat Al Sheba, we used this quarantine facility then. A lot of the Japanese horses you see are out walking already. They have 10 or 11 over there right now. Nice walking ring, starting ring to get one going. It's a wonderful facility. As you can see, the screens are everywhere. Survived my 15-hour plane ride. Still a little jet lagged, but it's all good. Got a couple of people here that do chiropractic work and also acupuncture. So he's not historically had that or needed that, but we're probably going to take advantage of it this week since it's such an important race. Got a little stain right there on the hip. See it?
Is that
Yeah, you got it?
some sand?
Rattle and Roll headed out. Back him up to that same marker. Yeah. Like I said, nice happy gallop. It's probably close to a mile walk to the racetrack from the quarantine barns here. So Danny will go by himself. Horse is a really fast walker anyway. But it's a nice long walk there, long walk back. Rattle and Roll here in Dubai. He's wanting to gallop. Okay. Horse looks fantastic. Okay, very nice. Just walk him down and back a couple times and then we'll put him away. Probably push it 80 degrees here in Dubai. air-conditioned barn. Horse looks super, absolutely fantastic. Blacksmith here changed his shoeing a little bit, where he's got him back under his heel a little bit more, a little less toe. He'll break over better doing that. At one point in time, we had a 3/4 shoe on him because we were worried about a quarter crack, but it's long gone. No sign of that whatsoever. It's going to be an exciting weekend. Danny Ramsey will get on him tomorrow. William Buick's going to come get on him on Thursday and possibly Friday. Just stand up 1 second right there, Francisco, right there. There you go. I don't know how much better you could get a horse to look. All right, super.
Now, Kenny, obviously gambling and betting on horses is a big deal over here in the States. Is it the same in Dubai?
No, not whatsoever. You can bet these races on U.S. pools and the international pools, but there's no wagering here in Dubai. And how they handle that is beyond me. But I think more than anything, they really want it to be the center of racing. I mean, the history of the thoroughbred goes back to Arabs, and they're very proud of it, and as they should be. Most people don't know that the sire lines for most thoroughbreds are Turkish horses, or in the case of Godolphin Arabian, is the stallion actually was a Turkish horse from my knowledge of it. And so the roots of horse racing and the sire lines really come from Saudi Arabia or the Middle East.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Here's this is the barn 10 is the Japanese quarantine barn. You see a group of some of the guys over there.
Yep.
They're finishing their day off. Barn 11 are the U.S. horses are in here. There's another scale. And then this is the horse path that takes you to the main track, which is about more than a mile walk. But the horses come back and they're pretty well cooled out. There's our own private walking ring over there. And then we're going to go inside the stable here where we've got Rattle and Roll. As you can see, everything's screened off really well. They're very, very particular about insects, disinfecting. It's a very intense routine around here. There's mats for your feet. I'm going to see if I can flip this camera over. And
Kenny, are mosquitoes a big deal there?
let's see here. Well, one of the there we go. So we're going to go in the side door here. One of the things that we worry about in horse racing is a disease called pyroplasmosis.
Sure.
And pyroplasmosis is passed by mosquitoes.
Got it.
And so if a horse has pyroplasmosis, they cannot travel to many countries.
Got it.
So as you can see, Brad Cox has got his own barn or his own office. We go down the line here. We won't interrupt anybody else's horses, but there's Hit Show, really talented colt that Brad trains. We're going to be running against him this weekend. Rattle and Roll, of course. He's everybody's marked up in here, and here's where they keep track of horse's name, birth, color. Then see the insecticide dressing done, veterinarian examination done, and every day, all this stuff is kept track of. We really do a good job. Here's our big horse, Rattle.
How does he eat, Kenny?
He's already finished eating. So they've already fed him, and he's already been there, done that. I mean, pretty amazing.
Well, you talk about Torpedo Anna and how she eats so well. Does he eat pretty well too?
He eats better than you and I.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, most good horses I mean, I think it takes that with a good thoroughbred is good eating habits. This is a really nice horse. He's looked fantastic. Straight no chaser.
Oh yeah.
Dan Blacker. Dan Blacker's here. I don't think he'd mind me just kind of showing his star off. Fine young man. Spent a little bit of time with him in Saudi. Spending time with him here. His wife's on his way. Most people know her as a racing analyst for the FanDuel TV. Kristen Blacker. So we get bottled water.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? We got bottled water for these horses.
Wow.
Shavings. You got hay bags and freshest hay you can want. This stable is air conditioned.
Okay, now that is there an air conditioning stable in the States anywhere?
I'm sure there is, but they didn't offer it to me. These are more bottles of water. These are just quick view of some of the setup here. Just figured people would have no other chance to see this. Doug O'Neill's got 2 horses here. Mm-hmm. Doug's a good friend of mine.
Yep.
Keep telling him to shave his head. He'll look more like me.
Mm-hmm.
And Raging Torrent. This horse is the favorite in the mile. Halter looks good. Nice job, Doug. All right. Next up, there's another Doug O'Neill horse. Yeah, so a lot of American participation, and all of us are quite friendly over here. It's a pretty neat thing. Yeah, Doug's got 3 runners. I thought it was 2, but it's a lot of camaraderie, and people enjoy being around each other. And the racing, we're competitive, but it's kept within limits of
Sure.
Hey, when the race is not run, we're friends, and when it's over, we're friends. So
yeah, it's a small community.
Most cases,
sure.
At least from my perspective.
Kenny, how do you like Rattle N Roll's chances?
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to try to flip this back over. This horse is a classic 1.25 mile horse. He really, really wants that added distance. He's never had a chance in his career to run that far. He's won most all of his best races have been won at 1 1/16 and 1 1/8. As a matter of fact, in 10 wins out of 25 starts, they were all at 1 1/16 and 1 1/8. And 10 furlongs is even that much more time for him to unwind and get there per se. The problem with 10 furlongs is that you're going to need a bit of pace in the race.
Mm-hmm.
We need some speed to soften up some of the front runners. You got to hope that maybe a horse like Forever Young, as the favorite, gets softened up at some point, maybe moves too soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about timing, these 1.25 mile races. And then the other thing that I think is significant about the Dubai World Cup for Rattle N Roll is that all his wins have been at 2 turns. And for those that don't know how some of these races play out, in Saudi Arabia, we ran a 1-turn, 9 furlong. That both of those stakes were 1-turn, 9 furlongs. So
right.
How those races unfold is a little bit different than a 2-turn race, because in a 2-turn race, in some cases, and not all, jockeys need to make decisions going into the first turn to get position. So if they ask a horse into the first turn to place itself forwardly, then they could take a little juice out of that horse's finish. And I think that the best chance for a horse like mine to win a race like this is to do it as a horse they're not worried about. And he comes from behind, and they're not worried about a closer. Like if a horse like Sierra Leone was in this race, the jockeys would be worried about how that horse finishes because he's such a big name. My horse is a little bit under the radar here, and I think we could blow up the tote board as far as price. I mean, he's going to have a setup. He's going to have things go his way, and he's going to have to be ridden perfectly. And that's completely out of our hands once we leg the rider up.
Speaking of ridden perfectly, who do you have riding him?
Well, so to let everybody in on how a lot of this race unfolded for us, we didn't get an invitation. We were the last horse invited to race in this race.
We had talked about that on the podcast a little bit, because you kept saying, hey, we've been waiting on the invitation.
It was disconcerting, to be honest. I don't know why I didn't get invited. There were some concerns about not only his talent level, but also that was he healthy. Um, it's For us, he's always been healthy, and when he wasn't, we gave him a break. As you see, he's still eating there, and the horse looks great. But the invitation affected, or the late invitation affected our ability to get a rider.
Sure.
Joel Rosario, who rode him the first two races in Saudi Arabia, opted to ride in the States that day. I'm not sure where he rides. I really wanted Brian Hernandez to come ride the horse, but Brian had already booked mounts at Keeneland for opening weekend.
Got it.
So Brian wasn't available. He's riding several for me that weekend, so that's good for me there. And then we settled on William Buick, who has won this race before. He's ridden a lot for Sheikh Mohammed. He rode for, I believe, John Gosden also. I mean, he is a top world-class jockey. William's going to come tomorrow and get on Rattle and Roll, and we will give him a chance to get to know him a little bit.
Great.
I've shared some of Rattle's best races with him, so he gets an idea of maybe his running style. And then, then from there, we're going to let him do what he does well and feel pretty good about our chances. Of course, you have to. You go into all these races being an ultimate optimist, and then sometimes you get humbled and sometimes you pull it off.
Now, Kenny, obviously Rattle N Roll has been over on that part of the country for quite a while now. Has Danny Ramsey or one of your teammates, one of your employees, have they been with him the whole time?
Francisco and Danny might even be able to speak Arabic.
I was going to say
they've been here for 3 months. They're two of my best people, and I've got a lot of really good people, and I'm really proud of the condition the horse is in, and I've come over here and I have very little to worry about. They're on top of it, and that's why I hired them to begin with and to pay them well. So they've handled all the details over here, and they've done a great job, and they get to go home. It looks like the 8th or the 9th of April.
Okay, so pretty soon.
They will be back in the United States, and Rattle N Roll himself is flying from Dubai into Chicago.
Okay.
And so he goes from here to Chicago, and then he'll have a couple of days in quarantine in Chicago, and then from Chicago he'll truck to more than likely Keeneland, and then ultimately probably get a little bit of a break at Magdalena and Lexington.
So that's about a 15-hour flight, right?
For the horses or the help? I mean, for me, it was 15 hours coming. I flew from Dallas.
Okay.
Actually, I flew from Little Rock. I was at Oakland. I went from Little Rock to Dallas, 15-hour flight from Dallas direct to Dubai. Then I'm going back. I'm 16 plus hours back. But here's part of the trip. The World Cup supplies you. Well, we have 4 business class tickets for owner and trainer, 2 for owner, 2 for trainer, and then the hotels are comped. And so it's just one of those events that if you can get a horse good enough to get invited, you better come, because it's a real unique experience. And like I said, I've been before. The flight's a wonderful flight. Talk about a great airline is Emirates.
Okay.
Fantastic airline. You got a sleeper seat in business class.
Awesome.
You name your movie, they got it.
Got it.
And then you listen to music, and you get fed 3-4 meals, and they have an open bar.
Okay.
If you want to go for that, and here we are.
Awesome, man. Pretty cool. All right, Kenny, can you give us some updates on some of the big names right now? I mean, obviously we're in the midst of a lot of the big races. I know the Florida Derby was this past weekend. How are some of the big names doing right now?
Torpedo Anna worked Monday. Unfortunately, I tried to work her Saturday at Oakland. We ended up galloping her in front of 60,000 people on Arkansas Derby Day, and she's doing super. We had sloppy track Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, Robbie Alvarado worked her at Oakland in Bullet Work. And then Mystic Dan also worked on Monday at Oakland. And both of those are scheduled for the next start to be at Oaklawn. It looks like Torpedo Anna will run in. Well, she's been scheduled all along for the Apple Blossom.
Yep.
And then Mystic Dan. It looks like he'll make the races the end of April, 1st of May. And we're excited to get him back in. More than likely, I'm going to point him towards a nice overnight or a listed stake race in Arkansas called the Lake Ouachita. And then we'll see if we can step ladder him and get him back on form. And then Friday, we've got Take Charge Milady in the Ashland.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Render Judgment in the Bluegrass. Both of them are outside chances, but you're with a chance, and both horses are doing super. So hopefully we accomplish some things in the next few weeks.
How's Hypnus looking these days?
Hypnus was very disappointing in his last race. I mean, we felt like we had an excuse when we ran in the Rebel in Oaklawn.
Yep.
His Rebel race, he had a lot of traffic issues. He didn't have any traffic issues in the Louisiana Derby, and we were all quite disappointed in his effort. That's the horse that we're going to have to regroup with, and we'll get much more conservative and probably point him towards an A other than allowance race. And if I had to best guess right now, I'm probably going to run him May 3rd at Churchill. He'll run early on the Derby card, Kentucky Derby card, in an allowance race, and let's see. I think he needs to get a little tougher, and he was very studdish in the paddock at Fairgrounds in the Louisiana Derby. I wasn't happy with his focus. He was a bit of a playboy, and this is one of the things we deal with.
Kenny, any other horses that we need to mention that are on the rise, that are doing really well right now that you're excited about?
Well, Anonymous ran third in the Virginia Oaks, and she's going to come back in the Vapors, which is a stake race at Oaklawn also. And then, we've got a list of horses that are going to run at Keeneland opening week and even into the second week. So we're gearing up for a nice spring. But overall, we've sold a group of horses over the course of the winter, some horses that were claiming types or weren't going to be what I'd call next level horses. And that's part of the process too, is to find spots for them where they can continue to win, even if it's for other people. And then the logistical issue that we have this spring is that we've got a large number of young horses that'll be cycled into the routine between, they'll be leaving Florida and headed to Kentucky, probably send some to New York early, and a lot of trucking ahead of us, a lot of work ahead of us.
Things seem to be on a great path, though, Kenny, and we certainly hope you enjoy your time over there in Dubai, and we'll be watching Rattle N Roll and keeping our fingers crossed that he runs a good race.
Well, hopefully everybody can get to see this before we run this weekend, and it's look, we're trying to let everybody know what the sport's about, and appreciate your hard work here, but we'll maybe bring home a big one. Who knows? We're going to try.
I hope so, Kenny. That'd be awesome. Well, we want to thank all of our listeners for listening. Once again, please leave those questions and comments. We'd love to get to those. That's a big part of our show. Give us a nice review. Give us a nice rating. And Kenny, we'll see you at the races.
All right. See you at the races.